Let me show you what turned my life every way but loose. Mr. Schoaf dropped this idea on me, changed me completely. Setting goals. Here's what can easily happen if you don't set goals. It's easy to let life deteriorate into making a living instead of designing a life. And we all have a choice. Make a living or design a life. It's easy to get trapped by economic necessity and settle for existence rather than substance. That's easy. But the best advice I can give you on how to break out of that trap is to learn how to set goals. Mr. Schoaf put it to me this way. He said, Jim, if you had enough reasons, you could do the most incredible things. I never forgot how he put that. If you have enough reasons, the reasons will change your whole life. Mr. Schoaf said to me, he said, Mr. Rohn, I think you've got plenty of intelligence, you've got plenty of talent, you've got plenty of ability. Probably what you lack is plenty of reason. He said, I don't think your current bank balance is a true indication of your level of intelligence. I was happy to hear that. He said, I think you're much smarter than your present bank balance indicates. And that turned out to be true. I was much smarter. But of course, my first question was, well, then why isn't it bigger? And he said, you don't have enough reason. You've got enough intelligence, but not enough reason. So see, reasons can change your life. Here's what else I found out. Reasons come first, answers come second. You don't get the answers to do well till you get the reason. Life has a mysterious way of hanging on to all the answers and only gives them up to the people that are inspired by reason.
Many years ago in Philadelphia, Albert E. N. Gray delivered a speech to a group of sales executives in which he defined the common denominator of success. He told his audience about the main factor investing in every success story that has ever been written. And he gave them part the answer to one of the most important questions of our time. What in the world where success is available to people? We go through the spirit. Something this career was a special breaking point to have it as financial event. Making it possible and getting the data to another remember, that is unusual.
Everyone has goals, but some seem to accomplish far more than others. That's because people who accomplish goals at a higher rate than the average person are those who use a systematic, proven method of goal setting and goal attainment. The answer is simple. You need an effective action plan. The first step in creating an action plan is deciding exactly what you want. Clarity is the most important single quality of goal setting and perhaps the most important single quality of success. Instead of fuzzy goals like more money, better health, and happiness, be specific about exactly how much money you want to earn in a specific period.
Let's do this. 5:46. Oh, I'm a minute late. Good morning. Welcome to the Millionaire Mindset Book Club. We are reading Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins. This will be YouTubed, put on my YouTube playlist. Chapter 3, the power of state. What do we mean by the power of state? It is, you ever been in the zone? You ever, I'm sure you have, there's been something that you were doing where you felt like you were in the zone. You couldn't do anything wrong, right? It could be playing a sport. It could be cooking. It could be whatever, right? Whatever state you were in at the moment, that was, you were in the zone, right? Everything. And then another time, you might be doing the same thing. Maybe you were playing golf. Maybe you were writing something, whatever it was, and nothing seems to go right. You can't stay focused when you do it, and it, you hit the ball and it goes this way and that way. Whereas, a couple of days ago, you were in the zone and everything was right on. Everything was right on. What happened? You're the same person, right? You're the same person. Maybe you're in a different state of mind, right? Tony Robbins says, you have all the same, you're the same person. You have all the same resources that you had before. And why do you produce dismal results one time and fabulous results the next time? The difference, he says, is the neurophysiological state that you are in, right? So he said different enabling states, or confidence, love, inner strength, joy, ecstasy, belief, right? These different states that we tap into, he said that these are great well springs of personal power, is what he calls them. And then there are paralyzing states: confusion, depression, fear, anxiety, sadness, frustration, these states that leave us powerless, right? And we travel through those different states, right? Understanding, he says, understanding your state, or understanding states, is the key to understanding change and achieving excellence, right? Our behavior is as a result. Our behavior is the result of the state we are in. And it's important when we get into, a situation maybe where you might say things or do things that you regret later. You remember that. You remember that the state that you were in, right? It's important to remember the times when somebody treats you poorly, right? Because then you can create a sense of compassion instead of a sense of anger, right? If somebody, I use door knocking as an example. When you knock on doors, you never know what's happened on the other side of the door, right? The person that answers the door may have just found out they lost their job. They may have just found out their spouse is leaving them. Whatever. You never know. So you can't take that, if they treat you poorly, if they're rude, you can't take that personally, because you don't know what's happened in their life. You don't know what kind of state they're in, right? Remember that people and sometimes the way people treat you is not the person, right? It's their behavior. The person is not bad. Their behavior at that moment just isn't the best. So Tony Robbins says, what if you could just snap your fingers, right, and go into the most dynamic and resourceful state at will, right? A state in which you're excited, you're sure of your success, your body's crackling with energy, your mind is alive. Can you do that? Can you hypnotize you? Can you, basically that's it. Can you hypnotize yourself, right? And the hypnotist snaps his fingers and you come out of it, right? But at the same time, they put you into this, they use this power of suggestion to say, when I snap my fingers, right, you're going to go into a deep sleep, boom, right? What if you did the same thing? What if you put yourself in a position where when you snap your fingers, all of a sudden everything was clicking, right? Everything was clicking and you were in the zone. Can you do that? Tony Robbins says you can. You can use NLP to do that. I think in chapter 17 is when he gets into more of that, right? So he says, by the time we finish this book, you're going to know how to put yourself into the most resourceful, empowering states and get yourself out of disempowering states. That's an important piece too. Get yourself out of these disempowering states whenever you choose, right? Remember, the key to power is what? Taking action, right? The key to power is taking action. So what is a state? What is the zone, right? A state can be defined as the sum of millions of neurological processes that are happening inside us, the sum of our experience at any moment in time. Most of the time, our states happen without our conscious direction, without any conscious direction on our part, right? We just kind of drift in and out of these. It can be a resourceful state, it could be a useful state, or not, right? But most of the time we don't do anything. We don't do anything to control it. It just happens. You ever hear when somebody says, I can't help it, right? Somebody behaves poorly, and if you call them on it, they go, you know what, I can't help it. That's just the way I am. No, it isn't. No, it's the state that you are in at the moment, because you're not like that all the time, right? So the key is to be aware. That's the number one thing, you know, in all of this stuff. The key is to be aware of it. When you're aware of it, you can do what with it? You can change it, right? Jim Rohn says the greatest thing about being a human being is you can change anything right now. You want to change the direction your life is going? Do it. You have the power. You have the ability, right? He says almost everything that people want is some possible state, right? So make a list of all the things you want in your life. Do you want love? Love is a state. It's a state of mind, right? It's a feeling or emotion we signal to ourselves and feel within ourselves based on certain stimuli from outside, right? We produce those states within ourselves. If you want money, we don't really care about little green pieces of paper, right? We want what money represents to us, right? What you think money can provide for you. Remember, if it's money, if it's all about money, you'll never have enough. The key to love, the key to joy, the key to the power that you have sought for years, the ability to direct your life is the ability to know how to direct and manage the state that you are in, right? I can't help it. I can't help the way I feel. Yes. Yes, you can, right? Successful states, I'm jumping over to page 43. Successful states, or successful people rather, are able to gain access to their most resourceful states on a consistent basis. The things that happen to you, right? The things that happen to you, you made me mad. No, you did something and I chose to be mad, right? Remember, nothing is inherently bad or inherently good, right? It says value is how we represent it to ourselves. We can represent things in a way that puts us in a positive state, or we can do the opposite, right? So think about a time when you've been in the zone. To take a minute, maybe not right this minute. We don't have a lot of time, we've got 5 minutes left. But think about take a little bit of time afterwards. Think about a time when you've been in the zone, right? Think about the way you felt, right? Think about what were the particulars? What was your external environment like? What was going on? And sometimes you might not know that, right? You might not know what your external, because you were so focused. So you got to think about, okay, how did I feel? What did I hear? What did I smell? What were my tactile sensations, right? The key to producing results you desire is to represent to yourself in a way that puts you in such a resourceful state that you are empowered to take the same types and qualities of actions that create your desired outcome, right? Everything we do in life is like that. right? If we represent to ourselves that things aren't going to work, guess what? If we represent to ourselves that things will work, guess what? We want to put ourselves, we want to create the internal resources that we need to produce the state that will support us in producing positive results, right? Earlier in the book, in the first chapter, we talked about Lee Iacocca and Ted Turner and successful people, right? They represent themselves. They represent the world as a place where they can do anything, where they can produce any result that they desire, right? And part of that is where do you put yourself? I gotta tell you, how many of you watch TikTok, right? I watch TikTok. TikTok can take me down 2 rabbit holes, right? And it's all based on the algorithms are based on what you watch, right? I watch these videos about people arguing with cops. I don't know why I watch them, because they upset me, right? They upset me that the people are arguing with the cops. I just, but if I watch one and I watch it like to the end, guess what pops up next? It's another one and another one and another one, right? Another thing that I see a lot is videos about boxer dogs, puppies. And, I have a boxer. I love boxers. And that's how even specific the algorithm is. If I watch a video about boxers, then it's not just videos about dogs, it's videos about other boxers, right? Think about that. What if we just put all this positive stuff, right? We watch the news, we watch negative stuff, what you put in, right? What you put in is what you get out. Have you ever seen somebody do the exercise where they have like a glass full of dirty water, muddy water, right? If you take a big pitcher of clear water and start pouring it into the glass of muddy water, right? As the clear water goes in, it keeps circulating and circulating, and pretty soon the glass is full of what? Clear water, right? If we poured muddy water in it, guess what it'd be? It'd be muddy water, right? The same thing is true of our brain. We pour stuff into it constantly, right? What do you do first thing in the morning? It's so important to have a morning routine, right? What do you do first thing in the morning? Do you get your phone? Do you go on TikTok? Do you go on social media? Do you look at the news, right? I try to look at baseball scores, right? I'm a big Dodger fan. We're in the playoffs. Yeah, we're gonna be in the playoffs again, hopefully in the World Series, right? But I could start my day off wrong by looking at the Dodger score and seeing that we lost last night, right? So, but we didn't. We won. Tony Robbins says, life is like a river, it's moving, and you can be at the mercy of the river, or you can, and you are at the mercy of the river of life if you don't take deliberate, conscious actions to steer yourself in the direction that you have predetermined that you want to go, right? If we do not consciously direct our own minds and states, our environment might produce undesirable, haphazard states, right? If we focus on the bad, our Google in our brain will just keep pulling up more bad, right? We need to pump positive stuff in all the time, right? All the time. I try to limit the news that I watch, right? I get to the point where I'm real distrustful about, I don't know what to believe, right? So yeah, you have to take it all with a grain of salt. So think about take some time this morning if you get a chance, sometime today, make time, right? To go back in your mind, hit that Google search bar in your mind, right? And say, bring up a time when I was in the zone. What was I doing when I was in the zone, right? People that have achieved excellence are masters at tapping into that resourceful part of their brain. It's what separates them from the pack. The key thing to remember from this chapter is that your state, whatever state you're in, right, has awesome power, and you control it, right? You do not have to be at the mercy of whatever comes your way, right? People cannot make you mad. People can push your buttons, right? But mad, glad, sad, whatever it is a result of your choice, right? Your choice. So that's it. That's it for today. Remember, Millionaire Mindset Book Club, Monday through Thursday at 5:45 a.m. If you want to be live on Zoom, I really love to see some people here and get some little bit of discussion and input. But I take this video, I'm recording them all, I'm taking them, I'm dropping them into the YouTube playlist, which I'm posting on the Facebook page and LinkedIn as well. So anyway, hope to see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be on chapter 4 of Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins. Chapter 4, the birth of excellence, right, is belief, right? So that's chapter 4. Hope to see you tomorrow morning. Millionaire Mindset Book Club. Get out there and make today the best day you have ever had so far. See you tomorrow.